Welcome back into another episode of the Ryan Ripken Show. And ladies and gentlemen, today is a good day. It really is. And a happy Thursday. We got a loaded show for you today. And let's talk about what is actually happening here for you all. Well, if you guys have heard or have seen, Ice Cube is joining us in the show here coming up to talk about what events actually coming to Baltimore, specifically the Big Three. So we will have that. Obviously, we will touch on our Orioles conversation. Yeah, let's get a good look in here. Hey, how you guys doing today? But so we are going to talk about, obviously, the Orioles. They break their losing streak. The Rangers are coming to town. We're going to go down on the farm to Norfolk with David Hall again to break down what's been happening with some prospect updates on some big names down there. And we're also going to do our Around Maryland, let you know what's going around this beautiful state and beyond it as well. And I think that is about what we will be able to cover with the time that we have. So without further ado, we actually have a full house. It's been a while since we've had a full house here for the Ryan Ripken Show, but going from my right to left, we have Zach and Kevin.
Just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here. And on my left, we have Rocco and Brad. Fellas, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. It feels good to have all the band together.
When was the last time Rocco was in here on a Thursday?
I know. That's what I was
That's
about
what
to
we
say.
were
It's been
trying
the
to
first
think.
time. Wow, I'm loud. The first time since like 2 months, probably.
No, I'm talking on
3 months?
Thursday.
You can
though.
actually just move the microphone away from your face so you're not eating it. There you go.
There you go.
Good job.
Look at us.
No, I'm saying, but like from the earliest part, because obviously you're in studio on Thursday. So when was the last time that you've actually this is two straight shows?
It might have
isn't
been.
I want to say it was the Ravens,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, it's been a
Football
long
playoff
time.
season.
preview, or
Football
I
season.
don't remember what it
Yeah.
was, but maybe I came in here on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Essentially, the timing, as we know, it's been a little bit off for the Ryan Ripken Show just because when we have guests and we have certain commitments. So like tonight, the Orioles are playing. I will be doing the pregame radio for 105.7 at Pickles. So come down and see me, say hello. And for the guys, everyone has different responsibilities. But I think when we get to football season, we'll be able to have more of a regular cadence on the time each day.
It's
And-
just easier when you have a football game once a week
Yeah.
versus like a baseball game every day.
Yeah. And also, too, the other part is we can expand this channel and we can expand our show and platform. We will do multiple shows and we'll be able to give you guys much, much more upcoming here. So the reason why, again, if you're wondering what's been happening here with Ice Cube, how that came about, shout out Rocco for realizing and understanding there was a big event coming here to
Yeah.
Baltimore. And you were right on top of it.
Shout out, Rock.
Hey, man, just got to reach out to the PR contacts and good things happen. It's shout out to Hannah, who is actually the Big Three public relations person, and she got right back to me on this. And with that being said, we have Ice Cube coming on the show. So it's great how, you can connect with people and just things happen like this. So we're super pumped for this guest and to have him on the show. It's going to be a great show.
Yep.
It is. And again, the Big Three tournament's coming to Baltimore on June 29th. It's going to be over at the arena there. And we're going to talk all about that in a little bit. But let's go around a couple other notes around Maryland. What actually we've had going on here the last week as well. So let's start with this. There's another event that's coming in a month and a half on July 31st. Guys, I think you know where this is going. In Annapolis, the English Premier League, Crystal Palace and Wolves are going down and playing at the Navy Stadium there. Tickets are available at Stateside Cup for $35. The group here, the band, is going to be there. So we're going to be giving you live coverage. So that'll be a lot of fun. Go to stateside.com for more on that. So that's one note I wanted to make. We've had some great guests so far, though, guys.
Yeah.
And honestly, this week, we just released Tristan McKenzie, pitcher for the Guardians. We have a lot coming from that. And I know on this case, for Orioles fans, we just sat down with an Oriole that people have come to love. And he currently has got a chance to be a first-time All-Star here. And let's do a little teaser of what's coming out with Mr. Ryan Mountcastle.
I'm Ryan Mountcastle, and I play baseball for the Baltimore Orioles.
Bronze on and trying to play really good right now. But that was a terrible analogy, wasn't it?
No, actually,
You like that?
that sort of works, man.
I'm glad someone broke that rookie home run record. It was ticking me off for all those years.
It's like taking the breading off of like a McDonald's chicken nugget. Weird. Like I don't remember what I did yesterday, but for whatever reason, song lyrics. Oh.
Can you just love me for me? So we had a great time. The Ryan Mountcastle interview will be dropped later on today, and we have a lot of good tidbits from him. And guys, look, we're just trying to give more context. We told you we're going to get more and more players on, and we're going to continue to do that. And Ryan obviously is having an unbelievable first half of the season so far. Big reason this team is doing well. It's been good, man. It's been a lot of fun. Now, on another note, Zach, I know you are happy that the Orioles broke their losing streak, but a little bit unhappy that your parlay did not cash last night.
Yeah, that was sad. That was sad. Joe, I do blame you. I trusted Heston. I did Heston home run, Ohtani home run, and Judge home run. 2 of them came through for me, Joe.
Which one didn't?
Oh, it's the reason I'm not doing a hog call. I'm done with
We're not calling the hog.
Joe, there are no more hog calls until there's a Heston home run. I am banning hog calls on the Ryan Ripken show until Heston goes yard.
But when he
effective,
does, we all have to do it in unison.
yeah, then we will call the hogs.
Yes.
But until that happens, no more hog calls. It's done.
Maybe we could do it on a Thursday when I'm back in studio.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come
We'll
back
just
in
do it
studio
from the
on a
top of your
Thursday.
deck. That's
I'll
fine.
do that. Yeah, let's just do that instead. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, it was tough, and it kind of reminds me of that. And we have a lot more in store with our good friends up at Hollywood Casino in Charlestown. So if you are in the mood, I guess, for it, and sorry, having a lot. Yep, no Pig Suey, Sam. I'm sorry.
And hey, shout out Sam. Orioles are 1-0 since Sam joined the Holy Shirts and Pants membership.
Oh,
hey!
We 2 days ago he said on live he was joining the Holy Shirts and Pants crew to get the mojo back, and that we would win the next game. And what happened? The Orioles did. So it is
That's
thanks
the
to
reason
Sam.
right
So
there.
so I think what we're figuring out is if you guys would like to see the Orioles win more games, please become a Holy Shirts and Pants member. You can click that join button, and we release our content out beforehand for some of those exclusives. So you guys will see that first before it goes to everybody else on those channels. And we try to give you the updates. We're still trying to improve it, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're on our way, and we're on our way with a lot of things. We got a lot of great people, and one of our other sponsors, guys. I know it didn't work out for you on this situation, Zach, with your bet. We've had some good times with our good friends, the Charlestown Races, the Hollywood Casino up in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
It wasn't even me that
Oh,
time.
come
Wasn't even
on.
me that time.
He's doing it on purpose, and it just
Because he thinks he's
slowly-
funny and
yeah,
he's just not.
he just like you should have seen the smirk on his face while we were doing it. He's like waiting, just waiting for it to end so he could say it.
Yeah.
I want to be the echo.
And in his head he was like, nailed that.
You want to be you want to be the sound effects?
I
to
really
all of
was.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably.
Well, our friends are at Hollywood Casino up in Charlestown Races. It's about an hour away from Owings Mills, about an hour and 20 from Baltimore. But we did a live show up there. We're planning to go back up there. They have actual shows. They have horse racing. Do not go play slots with Kevin and Rocco. That's a guarantee. If you want to lose your money, there it is, right there. But if you
Sorry,
want to
Kev.
win, the blackjack table was on fire. But guys, we're going to get a lot more content. We might have some more guests that join us up there. I'm just saying.
Ooh,
so
okay.
we'll figure out what happens here. But we have that planned. And as always, though, Brad, who do we have to call if you have a gambling
You have to
problem?
call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem.
Yep.
And yeah, well, we cannot wait to see everybody in West Virginia.
West Virginia. And another fun part with them, besides, again, if you guys behave, specifically you, Rocco, that you're back, we're going to go to a nice steak dinner up there, one of their 2 premier restaurants. And also, if you are a Penn Play card member, I know the answer, but put your hands up. Hands up if you like complimentary.
Hell yeah.
Double hands for Kevin.
Can you use that in a sentence for Rocco?
Still one of the weirdest.
Yeah. Well, here's the sentence. If you are a Penn Play card member and use your card up at Hollywood Casino, you get complimentary beverages, which means complimentary. It comes with using the Play card, but only in West Virginia. You can't use that in Maryland or Virginia. And if you download the app, the Penn Play app, guys, you have an ability or an opportunity to win $2,000 in straight Penn cash to start off just for downloading the app. That's coming straight from them. I'm just relaying the good message. So our friends up there, we're excited. We got a lot of good people that have helped us on this journey, and it's a good way to kind of reflect. I have seen some people ask about, oh, there it is. Yes, Eric, the Final Cut Steakhouse, one of the top 2 meals he's ever had there. So Rocco, you better strap up.
I will. Eric's the man, by the way. And will Kevin get kicked out for getting his steak well done? Because I think he should.
Yeah.
No, I will not.
I feel like
be.
he'll order
Yes.
his steak well done with a
Well
glass of
done,
milk,
steak truthers
put
are uniting
ketchup
under
on it,
my watch, and we are
then
going to
will
take
all
over the
get kicked
world.
out, and that's not what we want. So Kevin, learn to order and eat a steak, and we'll be in a good situation going back there. I want to be welcomed back. It's a great place. We love it.
Kevin's going to be welcome back just for the tequila shot.
Yeah.
And the baseball
Yes.
photo op was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have more photo shoots up there. And also, you have to be 21 or older. And we did have that snafu that those that didn't hear, I got pulled aside for a second. They're like, hey, is this member actually 21 years old? And I think you guys can figure out who they were referring to. Kevin, it's you. But we move on. It's all good. Let's see what else has happened here. Obviously, not that it happens for at least in the Baltimore region, but in Maryland, the NBA draft happened. It took place last night.
It's actually happening right now.
Again,
Second round,
second rounds today. So
which is weird for a second round to be happening on a Thursday
Yeah.
at 2 p.m.
I thought it started at 4. No, the second round.
Wait, 2?
I'm pretty sure I just saw something that
Maybe
someone
from
just got
coverage.
drafted.
I could be completely wrong, but I knew this is the first year they did the 2-round kind
Yeah.
of deal, right? Where
I
it's
Oh, it
one
is
round-
at 4. They just started coverage.
Coverage
That's
and
why.
whatnot, yeah,
I was
but
like, I
one
got a
round-
notification.
I hate it. I hate the 2-round
Yeah.
thing because you have kids that go home and they're waiting, like you saw, as say what you want about Kyle Filipowski from Duke and the whole tripping, falling, not tripping kind of thing that happened there. But guys like him and other players, super talented players, they're having to wait to hear their names called and then they go home instead of just like having it all done and
Yeah, where's
get-
Bronny going?
Lakers.
who knows?
Lakers,
He's
Celtics,
only-
or Suns. Did you see that Legler clip from today?
No.
He was like, the Celtics have the chance to do the funniest thing ever. They take Bronny, and then they go to the Lakers, we have your son. Give us Austin Reeves.
that would actually
That's
that'd be absolutely electric.
Yes.
Oh man, that'll be interesting. That all eyes at least on that is to see where Bronny would go. And you know what? And I feel for Bronny in so many cases where he just wants to live out a dream, and there's always going to be the expectations or the criticisms that he's going to go through. So I just hope he gets that opportunity. He's got some great athleticism. I do think he has the potential to have him find himself into a nice role. But I mean, the reason also I can relate to comparisons to fathers that have done tremendous things at a high level. So thanks, Calvin, for that. But in all honesty, that's a part of it. And he's going to make his own path there, which I'm excited to see. So we will see what was going to happen. Forgot what I was just going to mention to you guys. It was good. It was good.
I hate when that happens.
It's always brilliant.
It's always brilliant. And then it passes just like that. Write that down.
It'll come back to you.
It will come back to us. So what else did we want to touch on that I was missing from the start? Besides the fact that that's a good one there, Rocco. We will get into those. The fact that I think a lot of people, at least in Baltimore, can relax a little bit that the losing streak's over.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a bigger part. And by the way, the Orioles are 1 game back of the division,
Yankees lost.
despite
Shout out to the Mets. Shout out to the grimace-based Mets coming through with a big win.
I know there's been like a lot of Orioles fans, especially on Twitter, that have just been losing their minds about this losing streak. And, it could be worse. You could be a Yankees fan.
yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy, Brad? The Texas Rangers in the second half of the season last year, they went on a 7 or 8 game losing streak.
8 games.
They lost
Yeah.
9 of 10. They went on multiple 4-game losing streaks.
And
in
then
the
just
second
became
half.
a buzzsaw.
And at the end of the season, they lost 2 of their final 3, I believe. And
Yeah.
they went on to win the World Series. Losing streaks happen. Do you think the players like it? No. Do you think the coaches like it? No. Fans certainly don't.
Yeah.
But it's about how you respond after you get punched in the mouth. And I think we're going to see the Orioles respond in the best way possible.
I agree. I mean, again, I think people get caught up in that if you lose a lot of games, it means that you're doomed. No, it doesn't. It's not like football where if you run off a 5-game losing streak, you're extremely in a hole. It's not great if you're not playing well, but the Orioles had been playing well. So
That's
it's
the
good.
thing.
It's good context.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
there
good
was
context.
really good hit balls that just didn't go in the right spots, and like just some weird plays that, didn't go their way. I mean, of course, the bats didn't wake up on a game or two of that losing streak, but like it was still very competitive.
Super competitive, and it's baseball. I mean, I'll tell you what, when you feel like you got to figure it out, it's going to humble your ass. And when you think you're good, you get reminded you got to do better. And for the Orioles, is a reminder that you beat a lot of the top teams,
Yeah.
but you still got to be better. That's just the way it all works. Speaking of that, there's one thing that we hadn't touched on yet as much, and I'm going to keep pushing out clips, guys. We have so much content from our recent shows and guests that we're trying to get around to all of it at the right time. But one of those guests, which people, we cover a lot of baseball here. You guys remember a closer, second in all-time saves, Trevor Hoffman for the San Diego Padres? Yes. Ringing a bell?
Rings hell's bells, actually.
And I was hoping someone was going to pick that up.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Thank you. Yes, good kid, Rock. So Trevor joined us to talk some baseball. We're going to have more in depth on that because actually he has a very interesting playoff format of what he would like to see moving forward. But one thing he did, and this is what I love when we're talking about explaining opportunities. That's why with Ice Cube coming on, he's explaining an awesome event that's coming to Baltimore that people would enjoy. Yeah. Trevor Hoffman's involved with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, where they are trying to make a difference and to try to improve then the lives of these children with parents that are specifically Marines in the military. And so here's just a little tidbit on what he is helping kids with right now.
World War II, the Pacific Theater, my father-in-law in Vietnam, proud Marines. And so it was Tracy and my wife's desire to honor their service and honor the men and women that have served. And for us, the best way to do it was actually in research, finding out the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, as you mentioned, in the 60s was established when a Medal of Honor winner couldn't afford to send his kids to school. And he kind of passed the hat amongst his ranks, and they were able to fulfill a scholarship. And that was the impetus to get the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation started. And so instead of kind of doing our own thing, we wanted to hitch our wagon to something that was reputable and had 50 years of experience. And we did that. And it's been nothing but a great marriage, we'll say, from the start, that we're able to honor the men and women in service by educating their children. And so we had a big year this past year. Almost $11.7 million was gifted out. 100% of applicants receive financial aid. So there's about 20,000 recipients out there or applicants out there that we want to reach, that there's an opportunity to help them with their education. And the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation would actually love to do that.
So that's just a little tidbit more from that, but $11.7 million is going to try to help the kids with the Marine Corps background. And look, I think we can all, fair to say, life gets expensive, right? Going to school, going to try to better yourself. So if you know people that are in a situation, the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, check it out on the website at mcsf.org/apply for more details to see if you can be a part of that and you qualify for it. And we did just see the comment from my man, Bert. Bert's an awesome dude. Bert, what's up, man? But Bub Carrington, he's from the Baltimore area, and he got drafted last night by the Wizards.
Yes, he did.
Living out a dream, man.
Yeah.
Living out a great a dream that you've had since you were a kid is always electrifying.
Shout out St. Francis Academy, just producing talent left and right. I mean, shout out to the city in general for the talent they've produced over the years. But for Bub, it's to see him, I talked to him 2 years ago. He's our prep player of the week. And to go to Pitt, play 1 year there, and to have the season he did, he was an ACC all-rookie honoree. And to get drafted in the first round, and to get drafted, he got drafted by the Blazers, but then traded to the Wizards. Your family gets to drive to see you. You're an hour away from home. Rip, you make that commute all the time. Incredible. So great story, great human being, and I'm super happy for him, and I know a lot of people back here are as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true. I don't envy that drive, but if I was going to go watch my family member live out a dream in the area, you're damn right I would. And Kevin was a wreck last night with the draft. Seeing him on the post game lives, which we have Zach and Kevin react. Is it reacts? You guys
reacts with the
reacts. So we have our post game live shows. So Kevin was just an absolute puddle last night, trying to figure out what was going to happen. But
he was down bad.
It was a lot.
At least I just accepted defeat earlier, Kevin.
That's true. Well,
I just had my night ruined.
You kind of coped a little bit afterwards. But
no, I did. The second I saw, Antonio Brown made my. He helped my feelings.
That tweet was ridiculous.
Yeah, it made me feel better about the pick.
I was like, I told you guys, I have no idea how he still has an account on Twitter.
I don't either.
He's on a legendary run. He really is generational, and he brings it up. He's always like, "Hey, I'm on a generational run, and you can't deny it. He is. It continues.
I guess that's one way you can put it. That's definitely one way you can put
Yeah.
it. It's something. And I will say Twitter, X, whatever, it really has become the wild, wild west on there.
Yeah.
And it really feels like anything goes, whether that's good or bad. That's definitely the case. But guys, why don't we get ourselves prepared for our guest that's coming on here in a second. So why don't we, as we get ready to explain this event, why don't we take a ride on our Adams Jeep of Maryland here? Hey, now look at that. Oh, look at Rocco being careful. Kevin rocking the windshield. And that beautiful sign right behind everybody, as you can see, Adams Jeep of Maryland. That is one of our OG sponsors. We appreciate them. I actually was just up there getting car serviced. Easy to work with, friendly. Brad's been up there, and they're still having that special up until the end of the month here. We only got a few days, but
Right.
if you go up and you say
Rocco sucks.
you will get $1,000 gift card if you buy a used Jeep.
You got 3 days.
It's a great deal. I was talking to them about that today, but also Adams Jeep has a lot going. And I quote, and I will put up the picture here later on, is they're looking for the best July ever up at Adams Jeep. So we're going to have a lot more in store with them. But let's talk about this with the big three then, okay? So the big three and just another Quantum, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shout out.
Amazing. The big three is coming to Baltimore, as we just talked about. It's coming on June 29th, CFG Bank Arena. They've tried to make a lot of updates and bring some great entertainment to the area. Guys, safe to say this is a big event that's coming. Sports fans, if you like basketball specifically, this is the one for you.
Yeah.
And really, it's awesome to kind of see, because I think in Baltimore, especially basketball-wise, guys, I love basketball, and it pains me that the closest pro teams down in Washington, it's not that far away, obviously, for me, but Baltimore's been missing that. And now you're having a really cool opportunity of it coming back. And to explain this, so we don't have to have Ice Cube explain it, the rules of it, it's 3-on-3 basketball. And Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, it's FIBA-style rules overall?
For the most part.
Yeah.
They've added some things with game clock, and obviously the 4-point shot is not in FIBA, but there are spots on the court in the big three where you can get a 4-point shot. So, yeah, for the most part, FIBA rules for 3v3 basketball, but there are some differences here and there. The biggest one, obviously, being the 4-point shot.
Yeah, and that's a little wrinkle there on it, but they do have a lot of pro players that have played in the NBA that are involved. It's highly competitive. I mean, it's become an entertaining event. And I think that's the part, Rock, that I know we'll dive more into. But when you do something that's outside the realm of being the quote unquote top tier MLB, NBA, NFL, right? There can be struggles.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You look at guys, just take a look at the leagues that have been brought to life, or just, I mean, people have tried to create leagues outside of what is, I guess, what we call the norm.
Yeah,
so
you
remember
the XFL and like all
remember
kinds of
the AAF too.
Yeah.
The XFL, they just wasn't it the USFL, XFL, and now they're the
So many
UFL.
things, yeah.
Something along, it's like, and the AAF, it didn't last more than a season. And I know it was weird times for that league as well, but there are leagues that people create, people have a great idea for, people put money into, people put a plan into, and they're not successful.
I mean, the Savannah Banana Leagues.
What's that?
So the Savannah Bananas
They're killing it.
Like crushing.
Dude, I want to be a fan. I'm not against bringing gloves to games. I just don't. But like,
you have to.
You know damn well I'd be bringing a
yeah.
glove to the Savannah Bananas game, because if you catch that, you catch a ball in the stands, it's an out.
It's an out. You are part of the game.
Did you see the kid who caught the ball down the third baseline?
And they bring you on the field. They bring you on the field.
They so good.
Fan experience is a big thing, and they have marketing geniuses behind the scenes that are putting these things in place. And with the big three, Ice Cube, I mean, what he's been able to do over the course of his life, from music, from being a hip hop mogul to acting, to now doing this, to doing other things. I mean, the guy is a businessman, and he's making tons of money, and he's doing it the right way. But to do this, even for him, someone with money, you had to take a chance.
Yeah.
You had to take a bet on yourself. And people are like, oh, you know what? He's got the safety net. He's got a ton of money. Listen, if this league fell flat on its face, Ice Cube's out on a lot of money. but it hasn't. It's been successful. He's been able to do that. And look at him now. Look at this league.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic to see. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, absolutely watch it. And if you don't trust us or take our word for it, we're about to bring Ice Cube on and talk about it. And you can hear from the man himself why it's so successful.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to believe in us, that's fine. But I think we can believe the guy that you've come to know and love and has almost 31 million followers on Instagram. But Clay Train, before we do that, appreciate you, man. Again, this is helping us continue to grow, right? And this is something we want to be able to give you guys on a consistent basis. We're trying to expand our content, and we still have so much we haven't even pushed out that we want to yet to you all, right? And this is just a small way. Everything that we do goes back into making the product better here. That's our ultimate goal. And when we can be able to grow large enough where we can do this on a full-time basis, we're just not there yet, but we're growing, we're excited, and it's really because of the community that we have right here in you guys. So it's been fantastic, been absolutely fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited about so many different things. I know I just saw some the lineup updates. We will get into all of that. Don't you worry about that. Actually, with Jim Riley, just spoke with him, and that'll be on the Barrel Up podcast. You guys can check that out. He gave my opinions. You guys know we are pretty vocal here on talking about Orioles baseball, but Jim Riley, we're going to have him involved in the day-to-day or in the week-to-week, I should say, moving forward. He is such a
you were also on the national stage yesterday.
Oh yeah, called in with Adam Shine. That was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good convo.
Yeah, Adam Shine's fantastic. I really enjoy getting to chat with him, and
you had a solid 10 minutes with Adam.
Yeah, we're just chatting it up.
Yeah,
just a couple guys talking sports, baseball. The world's ending for the Yankees and the Orioles. Am I right? No, all in good.
Maybe in New York.
Well, maybe in New York.
Well, the whole, the new thing right now with the Mets mound.
No,
it was crooked last night.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that's what the Yankees. That's the big thing on Yankees Twitter right now is.
Was it legit crooked or was it crooked?
I'm seeing this big thing, and now John Boy is talking about it.
Well, of course,
it's like the mound was crooked. Hate to break it to you, Mets fans, but that's the only reason you won. Yeah. And I'm like,
it was crooked for both teams.
It's not basketball where you have like one rim is crooked and the other.
Well, that's what happened.
Well, I also want to know what's considered a crooked mound. Like, what part's crooked?
The Nuggets had multiple times last season where they had their rim unlevel for the opposing team, and they had to take like hour delays to fix it last year.
Yeah, but
that's
they
one
switch back and forth anyway.
Exactly.
They're going to equal amount of time on a jacked up hoop anyway.
By the way, does McDonald's have to bring back the Grimace Shake now?
Kevin, if they do, you need to make a video like one of those TikToks and follow the trend.
Oh my God!
You drink the shake and you end up on the ground covered in purple.
Yeah.
I think honestly, if we need to add something, we need to add Grimace back to the situation overall. Yeah. I think that's a hot topic here for baseball fans in general.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
All right. So we were teasing all about it. We were talking about what events coming here to Baltimore, and it's a massive one actually. And we've talked about it for a while. It's been very exciting. Yeah. Now we have the person that's bringing it to Baltimore. It's going to join us here, and you might know him from some other ventures. He's one of the best, well-known in the music industry, entertainers, entrepreneurs. But without further ado, if he's ready, let's bring on Mr. Ice Cube.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. And I got to ask you, do people just call you Cube, Ice, Mr. Cube?
They call me Cube.
Okay. I was just making sure. I got to know from the get-go.
I've heard it all. Mr. Ice is different, but I think they call iced tea ice. If you see iced tea, ice. If you see me, call me Cube.
Yeah, that I assumed, but you never. I don't want to make an ass out of yourself. I do that quite a bit, but I just had to ask. But correct me if I'm wrong here. You're staying busy. I just had a friend tell me you were performing last night in Raleigh, down with the Chili Peppers, and now you're on your way to Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia Beach right now. We got a show tomorrow night. As soon as I finish the show, I'm off to B-mode. You know what I mean? And
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I heard your performance. They loved it. They go, it was honestly the best part of it. And I'm like, damn, he's staying busy. But let's talk about this. You're bringing the big three to Baltimore here on Sunday or on Saturday. We've already explained the rules. We've already explained what it was, but maybe you kind of give the lowdown to how this is all really continue to come together and what's in store here and why you wanted to bring it to the Charm City.
Well, I think it's a great brand of basketball, very fun for the players to play and very fun for people to watch. And, when you see it live, it's a whole different experience. So, we've been barnstorming with this league for 7 years, besides the COVID years and then the quarantine. We had a couple quarantine years, but for the most part, we've been going from city to city, showing the world how great this brand of basketball is. 3-on-3, professional, and everybody loves 3-on-3 because it's mano a mano, nowhere to hide. If you can't pass, dribble, shoot, and defend, you're gonna get locked up in the big three. So it's just great. I can't wait to get there and show everybody, how good the product is.
Yeah, and I think one thing you're talking about the product right there. I mean, you're having former star players, Joe Johnson, and now it's jacked Mike Bibby.
Yeah.
He's put on quite a bit of muscle.
He's gotten jacked since his
Yeah,
NBA
Mike,
days.
Major.
So it was Mike Bibby in the NBA. Now it's jacked Mike Bibby when he was Big Three.
Yeah, it's different. But that's the personality people wanted to see, obviously.
Well, these are the guys that still got the hunger for the game.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 names I can name that people want to see. But if the player has retired in his mind, we don't really want him. He can come sit next to me. But if he's still got that chip on the shoulder, still think he got something to prove, he may have been, out the NBA faster than he wanted to. Everybody don't get a chance to walk into the sunset like Kobe Bryant. So it's players who really some of them are playing in other leagues around the world. So they're playing in China and they're playing in Puerto Rico and in Europe. And so this is where they can play this style in front of their fans, friends, family, people who've been supporting them all this time. Now get a chance to see them play on CBS or X.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, about not everyone gets to walk off into the sunset. So, fortunately, I had a father that had a chance to kind of similarly, he got to play for a long time and then hang it up in Baltimore here for the Orioles. And, it doesn't always work out that way, but the desire doesn't go away for guys. And that's what I love, is that you guys got the passion there with the league. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 7 years you guys have been doing this, you said?
7 years. It's really been 8. We had to survive a COVID year that we couldn't play. But 7 years at it, this is our 7th season. And so, it's just a great brand. And when players still want to play and there's nowhere for them to play, it could really mess with them mentally, and I think our league has been amazing for the mental health of athletes to walk off the court when they want to walk off the court when they feel it's time, and not when a league says we don't have no room for you, even though you've honed your skills to a apex basketball player. But to have a league where they can still get that competition, that camaraderie, make a little money, entertain the fans, is to me what the doctor ordered, especially at this point in the summer. I love baseball, but mid-season baseball, gets a little long, a little stretch. But so, to have an alternative too, it's great.
Yeah. And I love that. And the baseball part, after this next one, I got to ask you a couple baseball questions. Don't you worry. But kind of alluding to that, what's making you different, Rock, is going into what you wanted to ask.
Yeah, Ice Cube, thanks for joining the show, man. First and foremost, I'm sure you had a ton of doubters when you first started this thing year one. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, everybody thought we was crazy. Me and my partner, Jeff Quantance, everybody thought we was, like, why would you put yourself through this? New leagues never work.
Yeah, and you saw it in football with the AAF. Sometimes leagues, they do fall flat on their face. Your league has not, though, man. 7 years strong. You guys are doing fantastic things with the big three. But you continue to evolve day in and day out, and it seems. And whether it's you, whether it's people behind the scenes as well, your whole team just working on this, you guys seem like you have a really solid plan in place going forward to keep this thing not only afloat, but as successful as humanly possible. You had the offer to Caitlin Clark for $5 million for, I think, like 8 games, which was awesome. I want to ask you this. So with that, do you have any other athletes, people that you're approaching with offers to try to bring them to the big three to play right now?
Well, not this season. This season we pretty much rolling downhill. So, but next season, we'll have our antennas up. We felt like if we brought in a player like that, it would definitely elevate the interest in the league, from all levels. It's a barrier breaker as far as, could a skilled woman play with men at this level, 3-on-3 too, which is a little tougher than 5-on-5. So, it wasn't up to us to say she couldn't. It was up to her to accept the challenge and go for it. And she didn't. We wish her luck, and we're gonna move on and keep it moving.
And you guys are keeping it moving, and it's going to be great. Again, it's June 29th over at the Bank Arena, CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore. We're excited for that. I know the city. I don't know. I grew up in this area, and I know that a lot of people miss basketball. I know the Wizards are right down the street. It's a little bit different than when the Bullets were here and hearing all the stories. So I know people are excited about that. And again, appreciate. We'll get the words out. I appreciate you joining the Ryan Ripken Show. Now I got to ask you a little baseball. Maybe it's a recent photo. I want to jog your memory here, if that's okay. And maybe you remember this. Do we have that photo, Zach? Yeah. We can pull up. So great fashion statement, by the way. But do you remember this photo?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so context. I know you got your West Coast connections, and I know you like the Dodgers, but I know you have a little love for Baltimore and the Birds here. Am I right? I feel that.
I got a little love for Baltimore for sure. The hat to me is fire. With the bird on it is the Oriole on it is fire. John Angelos, was an investor in the league, and he's been behind us. I know he recently sold the team, or his family did.
Mm-hmm.
But he loved the Orioles, and he's been behind the big three, kind of behind the scenes, and we appreciate him and the team, and your pops was amazing. So it's it's just been, to me, Baltimore is a great city. My son that was sitting next to me, everybody think that's O'Shea Jr., but it's actually my son Sharif, and he's one of the biggest Ray Lewis Raven fans, and I'm like, we got a Raider household, and he was not going for it. It was Ray Lewis and the Ravens all the way for him. And he's still a big time Ravens fan. Love Lamar and the squad. So, Baltimore continues to be in our heart. We dig it.
I mean, it could have been worse for you, Ice Cube. It could have been like a Chargers fan or something like that. So at least he's on the opposite, on the East Coast and not in the same division, right?
Do you guys need a new football team? Because we'd love to send the Chargers that way. Take care of it for another 20 years like we have.
There's already the Harbaugh connection with John and Jim, so there you go.
I was going to say the Chargers are taking all the Ravens players, so I think they're trying.
It's already happening right now.
Yeah,
it's in motion.
We're working on it for you. We'll try to open things up here. This is. I'm glad we that was the assumption again that was your son, and I think there's some other photos of you guys repping or him repping the Ravens colors, and And we love to hear that. Hey, we got no beef with the Raiders, man. As long as they don't play the Ravens, we're cool. They can go and win every single game. Maybe beat the Chiefs. I think that would make everyone happy.
Yes, make that
Hey,
happen.
you know, that definitely make me happy for sure. Whoop on them
Yeah.
any chance you get, please. And we'll
Oh,
take
God.
care.
Merriman, on the other hand,
We'll take care of those
Sean
Steelers.
Merriman hates the Raiders
Hey, we
so
will.
much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a guy we've had on the show multiple times. We
Yeah.
have to have you guys on together.
yeah.
just to
You're
talk
obviously
trash on
familiar
each
with
other's
Sean
teams.
Merriman, who used to play for the Chargers.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He was a Charger. He's
Yeah.
a good dude, but he's a Charger.
Yeah, it says it all in your voice. I get it. I get it.
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, but he likes to stir the pot, man. He likes to get that Raider Nation fired up. And actually, I got to ask you this question because this gets our group fired up, and it's actually brought to you by our friends over at Stuggies. But so I'm assuming you've gone to a ballpark and had a hot dog over the years. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I've had a few Dodger dogs. for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, Dodger dogs. Okay, fair enough then. Okay, condiments. I don't consider putting like sauerkraut, onions, whatever else. I consider those toppings. If you were just gonna put on your dog, condiment or no condiment, Ice Cube, what's going on your dog?
Mustard, man. Come on.
Oh
Let's go.
no.
Yeah, mustard.
That's it?
I love chili too.
Okay.
I was outside of Wrigley's one time, and the guy cooked. He was doing some kind of Franks, and he put lettuce with balsamic vinaigrette on it, and I was
What?
like,
What? Whoa.
yeah.
Balsamic. Okay, that's a dressing, Kevin. By the
Yes.
way.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Balsamic vinaigrette. Put that on there. It was
Did you eat
tasty.
it?
Yeah, it was tasty, but
It was tasty.
Okay.
They put anything on a hot dog though in Chicago.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. They'll put a hot dog on a hot dog in Chicago.
You ain't lying about that. What about, are you cool with plain dog? Like that's a vibe too, or no?
I mean, I can rock it, but I'd rather have a little mustard, man.
Okay. The reason why they roast me because I like to eat a plain dog. That's just how I roll.
A little mustard, yellow mustard too. I don't like the other fancy, funny tasting stuff.
Yeah. What's it? The grape poupon?
Yeah.
Poupon?
This is such
Spicy
a
mustard.
big day for us mustard.
I ain't gonna
guys.
say no names because the big three is still looking for sponsors, but I like the yellow mustard.
So anyone that's got a great yellow mustard, I got a group that you might be interested in a sponsorship. That's what we're gonna look for. All right, we'll get you out in a quick second. What did we want to add, Rock?
All right, Ice Cube, I got one more question for you, and then we'll let you get out of here. So, people obviously love the movie Friday. Like it's so quotable, and just so funny. If you ask a lot of people here, it's one of their favorite movies of all time because of how funny it is. So I want to ask you this: if you were to recast that movie right now with a current athlete, has to be a current athlete that could play Debo, who would that be?
A current athlete that could play Debo. I mean, I don't know how current he is, but I still think Mike Tyson could play Debo.
That's a good one.
Yes, that's awesome.
Mike
Love that. Love that.
is, still one of the most feared men on the planet.
Yeah, he is. It's no lie about that. What I was trying to think, wasn't that he was supposed to do the fight with Jake Paul recently? Had to
So
stop.
he's still a current athlete.
He is still a current athlete.
Still
I
current.
mean,
Yeah.
he gonna be a boxer till he 80, 90.
Yeah.
Still
And
gonna be
I'd-
scared of that hook.
Yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be scared as shit facing him at 80, 90. He'd kick my ass. He'd
Yeah.
kick a lot. I wanted to see that.
Did you see Custom Model at 75 still get a punch in on Muhammad Ali? And that was his teacher. So, the skills never die.
Hey, I like that. The skills never die. That kind of goes in mantra then kind of with the big three. You got skills and you got the passion. The skills never die. So where can people then, if Obviously, you can go on the websites, but is there anything specifically that other people should know about the Big Three before we get you on out of here?
I mean, it's a whole lot of fun. 6 games for the price of 1. You can't beat it with a stick. I'm performing, so you get a little Ice Cube live, and we just gonna have fun in there all day. You know, it's a great day of basketball, and you know, I know Baltimore missed pro basketball live, and here you go. I'm bringing it to. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So again, June, it's not tomorrow, June 29th, Saturday at CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore. 3 for 1. You have Ice Cube performing. And what else do we have, Rock?
And then on Friday, I'm told by Hannah, who is set this interview up. She's awesome. The Young 3 event over at Rudy Gay's gym as well. So you guys are running that as well, right, Ice Cube?
Yeah, you know, we do that for the kids. We have the kids come out for free. You know, do a little skills challenges and show them how to play basketball, get their confidence up, give them a little physical and mental, you know, encouragement, and let them play some 3-on-3 basketball with the Big 3 rules. And then we invite them to the game. Them and their family get to come to the game the next day and hang out. And some of them get to hit the court and do some drills. You know, a great event for the youth. And so, you know, if you got a you know, son, daughter that want to play a little 3-on-3 hoops, you know, check out the Young 3 event. It's going to be fun.
So that's the thing. I love it. You got multiple things available.
Yeah.
You're staying busy. Well, it's just in perfect time. We're about to get you out of here, but it was just that timer. So Friday, Saturday, Young 3 on Friday, Big 3 on Saturday. And again, Ice Cube, we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to join the Ryan Ripken Show. And if there's anything that we could ever do to help you in our way, anytime in Baltimore, you let us know. But enjoy, safe travels, crush it tonight in Virginia Beach, and safe travels here to the Charm City.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys. Let everybody know doors is at noon. We shooting at 1. Let's do it. Yeah,
Let's do it.
All right.
Ice Cube, everybody.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, the thing that I love too is he's still continuing to give back. And I think that was the other part. I'm glad that you mentioned that, Rock, of it's, and Rudy Gay also, shout out Baltimore legend here, basketball play. And again, Rudy's career in the NBA is so underrated because I know people looked at initially Carmelo spending time here, and I know, but Rudy Gay was a guy here that was amazing.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Archbishop Spalding, stand up, man.
Yep. So that's the thing where we like, and I'm glad we confirmed he's not. Mr. Ice is one that's interesting for him, but in general, what I love is just that there's so much going on. Also, like if you got a Saturday night or a Saturday day, a whole event, you get to go watch games, plural. You get to see a concert, and then you get to just have a great time overall. I think it's just something that people should be able to enjoy. Yep. And Rob, Babby, I see you, man. Mr. Ice taking care of the youth, baby. I kind of wanted to, I like Mr. Ice now.
I will say though, it is really cool, just awesome seeing that, you know, someone who's done as much as he has, just a fellow mustard lover. It's just
that's
what you took away from the interview.
God bless.
You know,
Not only the real mustard.
Yeah,
too.
the real mustard. He
mustard.
didn't hit us with, you know, Mike Elias has hit us with spicy mustard. Like there's been a lot.
Rubenstein's spicy mustard.
A lot of
too.
spicy mustard. I'm like,
Regular mustard guy.
he's a regular yellow mustard guy. We're coming.
Dude,
We're coming.
I was so interested to hear like Zach was going to talk about what he had to say about the Big 3 and like no, he's a mustard guy. That's all that matters.
You know, and you know what else? Hold on, and you know what else?
Guy.
Ryan tried to bait him into saying that he was cool
That's
with a
so
plain
true.
hot dog.
He's
And
guilty.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Like, and so, but he did not take that bait. I appreciate him.
I tried.
Ryan has been intimidating the witnesses.
He has been.
lately.
Whoa. Okay. I have been harassed by our witnesses as well.
Because of your choices, Rip. Because of your
And
choices.
we don't even tell the full story anymore.
Oh no, we told Mountie the full
Oh,
story.
Oh,
yesterday.
okay. Oh, we've told the full story, and not only Mountie got us good, but that's another. Tristan McKenzie was in studio here. He had some words for Rip when he found out.
You got
that he
feelings
had-
about plain hot dogs.
As he should.
That was incredible. He even tried to get Rip, he was going at Rip and trying to get him to trip up. He was interrogating him. And then at one point he got Rip to admit something and he looks at me and goes, I got him. And I was like, you got him.
He didn't
When
get.
Ryan was calling him, he's like, should I call you Ice, Mr. Cube? It reminded me of the scene in That's My Boy when they meet Vanilla Ice. doesn't it's Andy Samberg or someone goes, hey there, Vanilla Ice Cream Cone? Or something on that instead. Like, that's what Rip was working with today. Just like, we love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a good kid. But you know what I loved is that how much he explained, and also we love. Thank you, Justin, for gifting the memberships. We do love that. Part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the community. What?
I was waiting to do a dramatic thing for me on camera. Like you waited and then you cut real fast.
Okay,
I was
so
just trying to clap for Justin and D.
There we go.
Oh, sorry, I'm clapping.
That's good, all good. But what I love too is you heard him talk about what he thinks of Baltimore. I thought that was awesome
huge.
to hear how he cares about this area and to hear about the investment that is still involved in what he's instilled, and also that his son is a Ravens fan.
Yep.
And refuses to give in. He refuses to give in. I love that. Even though Ray Lewis is no longer on the team, he said, no, in a Raiders household, I'm sticking strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does not like the Chargers.
Does not like
Does
the
not
Chargers.
Did we
Listen, if you're a Raiders fan, it's like Steelers for Raiders.
Yeah.
You struck a chord with that question, Brad.
I knew because I knew what was going to
That's
happen.
awesome.
I knew it.
I
We
love
need to
it.
get Sean back on, and we need to tell him or
Oh,
clip
we're
what
clipping
he
that and
said.
showing
yeah,
them. We're
Sean,
gonna clip
what did
it
he
and
say?
show.
He said
Sean's
he's
a good guy, but he's a Charger.
yeah, he just kept going.
He said, I feel
Sean-
sorry for him.
Yeah, at the end, he just kept looking down. He went, he's a good guy, but he's a Charger.
You could tell how disappointed.
He's
You
a
got to
good
sag
guy.
him with
You could
that.
tell.
Like, he was
Sean.
like trying to process in his head. He's like, he's a Charger. He's like,
Charger.
you can't say he couldn't call him a good guy without then being like,
It's like that gif where it's like,
no. Yeah, he's like, do I compliment him? Yeah, okay, he's a good guy, but he is a Charger. So I love that.
But he's a grinder too, man. So he's doing all the concerts as well and coming here to do this. So he's doing the concerts with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's going to be electric. I might need to tell my buddy in Norfolk that he's got to get there. And hey, for all the Tides fans out there too, you got to go out and check out if you got time. I know they're playing, but I mean, maybe go after the game. That would be fantastic. And again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. The Ryan Ripken Show. We are in the middle of rebranding also with the show. We are going to get into a little bit of the Orioles Rangers preview here in just a moment, as well as welcoming my friend and now all of our community, Mr. Robbie Haas.
Hey, Robbie.
What's up, Rob?
Appreciate you, Robbie.
Yeah. If only knew, you guys might have met this guy already. That's
Really?
well, guys, you guys are right in the middle.
Yeah,
We got to separate a little bit. Ready?
Yeah. No, you're not. Okay. This is a waste.
Jesus
It's a waste of
Christ.
time. No, but Bab's one of the good ones. Just like our whole community joins a community that again makes this all happen. We appreciate you. And Vernon, man, appreciate you, Vernon. I know
Vernon.
it's been a hot minute. Vernon's actually has seen me come up through the system. So it was great to be able to interact and appreciate it. Vernon says, hey, Ryan, it's Vernon. Keep up the good work with the show. You guys rock. Baltimore strong. We appreciate that.
Oh, that Robbie.
Yeah, that
Okay.
Robbie. Oh, that Robbie.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Good kid. Very good kid. Again, knows too much about Ryan. We can't have him on because that would become a problem.
Well, now he's in the chat. Now he's a member. So you're screwed.
Yep. Well, that's hide yourself. But okay, what do we want to do? We want to talk a little bit of Orioles. Some of our guys, I know we got a busy crew. You guys got to make some moves. Now would be the time. Is that fair? Or do you guys?
I got a little bit.
You got time. Rock, how you doing?
Doing all right for now.
Okay. All right. So
Also, real quick, I
Mhm.
do want to. I was glad he got Ice Cube got a kick out of the Jax Mike Bibby thing. I had a feeling he would enjoy it because that was the big story when Mike Bibby went to the league. Was he showed up just insanely jacked. Also, fun fact, I do know Ice Cube said that it's for kind of players to continue their career and go out on the way they want. Joe Johnson did go from the big three back to the NBA a few years ago. So like this is one of those things where he played so well in the big three and he impressed so many people. The Celtics called him and re-signed him. So it literally is something where you look at it and you're like, okay, like it's just a big three. It's these guys going out on their own terms. They are still got some juice. I mean, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, see Mario Chalmers is in it. Like, this is a really cool league where you look back and you're like, these were the guys that I've watched in the NBA over the past years.
It's like they started off, I think, with more of the guys who've been out of the league for maybe 5 years or so, or like 7. But now it's like Paul Millsap, I think, is going in this year, and like it's players who have been out of the league for maybe like a year or two now, and they're even trying to, with the whole Caitlin Clark situation, like they're trying to grow this thing. And you know, I love the whole mantra behind it because it has multiple different avenues for these players, whether it be former or even current players, to be able to go in there and just play basketball. And I liked 3-on-3 is different from 5-on-5. And I know Cube made a point to reference that just because it is 1-on-1, just like he said. And if you don't play well enough, you know, it's not like you have all these passes in his 5-on-5. 3-on-3 is a different beast. So
listen to that. So like you talk about the big three and some of the names, Kev, and like Zach, you touched on it as well. Real quick, I want to go through the stat leaders because this is like a real blast from the past, from like people who are diehard NBA fans who grew up watching the game. You will, without a doubt, remember some of these names and some of these guys who are just at the top of the charts in their respective categories. For points, it's Dante Green. Okay, for rebounds, though, Jason Richardson. What surprised me was Reggie Evans wasn't at the top of the list because he was an offensive rebounding machine. I don't know if you guys remember him with the Nets, but he was a beast. And then assists, Joe Johnson, steals, Corey Brewer.
Corey Brewer.
Nugget legend.
Man, these names are going to be like, wow.
Yeah,
like that guy's in the big three right now.
Yeah.
Earl Clark for blocks.
Nugget legend.
Total field goals, Michael Beasley. He's a DMV area guy.
Yeah.
3-pointers, Elijah Stewart. 4-pointers, Jeremy Pargo. He has 2. So it's like, these are names that if you grew up watching the game, and it, you know, they might not be from the 80s, 90s, but like if you're my age or, you know, your guys' age, these are names that we saw and knew, and these were really good, talented players. These are not no names that are playing in the big three.
Yeah.
These are guys that are well known in the basketball world, guys that are still talented, and guys that have transitioned from playing 5-on-5 ball in the NBA to now doing it with the big three, and they're doing their thing, and it's really cool to see.
I love the last thing I'll say loved his comment about there's no place to hide in 3v3.
Yeah.
You got to be good.
Got to be good. Oh, unique New York. Yeah, got to be good. Sorry. That gave me a second to really take a moment to eat. I'm so damn hungry. So, Kyle, thank you. Shout out the
Shout out.
I feel like these just pop up out of nowhere.
They do.
I don't know where it came from.
So I had I had lunch with Nick Moore today, and they were like, you know, you want some roost hearts? I'm like, there's a bear shit in the woods.
Yeah.
Give me half a dozen of them things.
Yeah. And literally here we are. And the new menu's out for the Iron Rooster too. I cannot wait.
Is it? I did not get the new menu.
Well, and certain things. Well, we'll have to walk you through some new menu items.
I tore up some shrimp and grits today.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, it's an underrated item.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. And we could talk about the Iron Rooster and all the food that they could have and how much I'm going to be there. I'll probably be there tomorrow and next week, but that's for a different time. All right, let's talk about, before we have David Hall join us here, Boom Boom Birdland, appreciate you. Hey, Ryan, after tonight, the Orioles will be through 81 games, half the season. So far, they're 50-30. Can you talk about the first half, dislikes and likes? I guess I'll touch on that and we'll do the Rangers-Orioles. Does that make sense? So what do I like about what the Orioles have done so far? I like a whole lot. I mean, they're in a fantastic position. Right now, they're 1 game out of first place in the AL East. All of their hopes are still intact. Everything they want to accomplish is still there. The dislike for me, honestly, is just the ravage of injuries to the team. Like that's to me been the dislike. And it's nothing that they did, but it has greatly impacted what is going to be happening moving forward, meaning what trades they're going to have to do. Arms are being more fatigued, and that really has changed the dynamic of what the blueprint was. And even if 1 or 2 of those guys were out, right? But we're talking about they lost 3 starting pitchers and then 1 big bullpen arm in Danny Coulombe. So for me, that's really honestly my dislike. I'm not going to nitpick and go, well, they need to drive in runners when they're not hitting home runs. I mean, no, this offense is so electric. I think I don't have any problem with that. You can say they can be better in situational, sure, but 50-30 with a depleted starting rotation at times, yeah, sign me up for that. But talk about a team that's trying to find its footing and had some injuries themselves, and they're struggling still. Texas Rangers. Rangers are coming to town, but Max Scherzer looks to be hopefully back. He pitched extremely well against in his opener. He went 5 innings through 57 pitches. And I think it was 1 hit, no walks. Talk about efficiency, right? So Rangers are going to come to town. They're kind of desperate to get back going. And for the Orioles, you're hoping you don't let them get going. And for the Orioles, Grayson Rodriguez bouncing back with a very, very good start against Cleveland.
Yeah.
The Orioles bats woke up and they were looking really good. And Craig Kimbrell closes the door. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Cedric Mullins is starting to reemerge. But what did we know about that? Absolutely nothing.
They should.
It's like we don't know ball or something, you know?
I do remember an X comment. It was like along the lines of you smelling a certain Orioles player's socks.
Oh, he has been so good since that comment.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's like,
do we know when that comment was?
Yes,
A couple weeks
it was
ago.
like
June-
I think
June
Rick's
8th,
going
June
on
18th or
radio
something.
to sniff Cedric Mullins'
Yes,
socks.
but I need
was
the
was
official
comment word for word.
Are you looking? Are you looking?
Yeah,
at
I'm
it?
trying to
And
get the.
I'll
that
try to
comment
find it
could be
too.
for Cedric Mullins, like Johnny was for Lamar Jackson for the Orioles season. I don't know.
So-
I may know nothing, but it was. Go ahead, Brad. What?
I was trying to move on. I do
Thank you.
have a question about and we're gonna get this question is gonna get these conversations are gonna get louder and louder as we get to the trade deadline. But the trade talks are getting hot, especially with the latest losing streak. And as we get closer to that trade deadline, lots of names being tossed out. And I think that there as a lot of fans are a bit too quick to throw out some of the names. Now Heston Kjerstad's getting thrown around, which I mean, the guy hasn't even really been given a real chance in the bigs. I mean, tonight I think will be the first time he started 3 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's
No, it's
three,
having
three or
three
four,
out.
three
Yeah,
or
three or
four, and he
four.
pitch
Back to
in.
back.
But the point is that 3 or 4 games he's starting is something that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And to kind of, I'll talk about that. You're right. We've talked about Heston Kjerstad, Brad, of how talented of a hitter we think he is, and the ability to drive the ball to all parts of the field. And he's done everything at AAA that he deserves to be up here, and he just hasn't found that opportunity yet. It looks like they're going to give him more run here, and they need to, because if you're not going to give him the run, then you might as well move on from him. And that's I think what they're going to have to figure out. I personally don't want to trade him.
Yeah.
But I do think now that the perception's changed a little bit, right?
That being said, yeah, I think that there are potential trade candidates. Like I think Connor Norby would make sense as much as a lot of fans might like him. You're not going to trade away Jackson Holliday, right? So like the depth there's a surplus of second baseman at this point. So Connor Norby makes sense as a potential trade option. And so there's plenty of other scenarios in which I could see a trade taking place over somebody like a Heston Kjerstad. He to me is an untouchable.
Yeah, for sure. The thing though that I think that Heston wasn't as untouchable as he was earlier just because he hasn't gotten the opportunity. I think that if he gets the opportunity, we're going to see that he's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, then it's going to open up the door of going, well, the teams, hey, Heston could be available. What you got, Kevin?
Yeah, well, essentially, I think what they're going to have to do here is decide between Heston and Kyle Stowers, and I think they're going to choose Heston at this point. Where I don't think there's playing time for both long term.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
I could see
the
that.
Westberg Joey Ortiz situation where they're both good players,
Yeah.
but there's just not a path for both. There's a path for one, not two, and I
Yeah.
think they're going to have to decide.
And
That's a great point.
you look at the outfield, and it's just like it's crowded right now. You have Tony, who's been scorching hot in June with the home runs.
Kowser's not going anywhere.
What's that?
Kowser's not
Kowser's not going anywhere. Mullins is heating up at the right time.
Right.
There's realistically one spot to plug and play guys, and that's you're toying around with one spot in the outfield, depending on where you want to put a guy on any given night. And if you had 2 spots, if you had one guy that just wasn't producing right now, or another guy in the outfield that you're just like you have your doubts about,
Yeah.
Okay, fair, but you don't.
Well, and there's
right
so
now at this
much
point in
there's
time.
so much that can happen, I think, leading up to the trade deadline, but then also this offseason.
Yes.
Because you got Seti,
Yes.
who's in a contract year. You got Santander, who's also in a contract year. There's a lot of guys that are going to need to be signed or not signed, and a lot of them that you're going to want as far as your top prospects in those spots, as you mentioned, Rocco.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that everyone's trying to look at, and that's why we're close to this conversation of, all right, what do we do now? We're getting to July, Ryan, and people have heard me say, let's pump the brakes until we get to July. But I do think now with the Heston Kjerstad call up, I think it's going to be figuring out a little bit more, and then figuring out what the prices of some of these pitchers, and also look around baseball again. Everyone, this is a weird year where so much mediocrity. And what I mean by that is there's so many teams that are hovering around 500 or below that are within striking distance of the playoffs. And that's something that is because of the new format, and just also because the level of consistent play is down. There's such a difference between the Orioles and the Yankees and the Phillies and the Guardians right now, some of these best teams. So it really is great to see on that end. That's why I try to tell people, like, hey, let's calm down. It's all good. Don't worry. But context matters here. Context matters. And I think Brad Fursetti, he's got one more year.
Yes.
And then he's got to go. Then he finally gets through free agency. But again, it's another piece that we're going to have to fill in.
All right. So Bleacher Report put out this mock trade.
No, I saw it. It's terrible.
It's
It's
disgusting.
disgustingly
It
bad.
is
Let's-
sick.
Hold on. Put that away. Put that away.
Put it away, heel,
Put it
for a
away.
second.
Yeah. Because we have a very nice gentleman by the name of David Hall waiting in the background, and we should probably ask him about this as well.
I agree.
Great segue, Brad. Well
Yeah.
done.
I agree. Well, the thing was, yes, we can close that off. We'll bring him back in, and we can talk about it a little bit more.
I
So,
would put the thing on you.
oh, it's on. I put it on the wrong person. Sorry, that was a mistake. And a lot of people are wondering, why is Rocco just laughing hysterically, like looking, reacting to something, and then when he turns back to the camera, you go, well, and it's this team right now. Your voice changed very dramatically.
Call me a mute muppet.
Well,
We also do have Cedric Stats since you were asked to sniff his socks.
okay. Since I was asked to sniff his socks, what do we got?
He is batting .378 with 17 hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 11 runs scored.
That means that Rip just has to sniff his snacks every day.
Or he's already been.
Because Zach pulls it up and he just turns it and he goes, since June 12th. And I found the tweet. You're just like, what is going
And 3
on?
steals. And 3 steals.
You know, it's either Ryan has to do it or he's already been doing it. And
Give
that's
me-
why
give
it's
me-
happening.
Give me more of the socks. Give me the socks,
Feed
baby.
that man
All
the
right.
socks.
I knew it.
Superstitions, man. Hey, if it helps the boys get some knocks, man, I'm all about it. But why don't we go down to the farm here for a second? Because a lot of people have been asking about what's been happening down, and specifically down in AAA. They loved when we had him on before. It's a friend of the program. He's going to be on more recurring, but he's got a pulse, and he's also just a great damn guy. Why don't we bring in David Hall to the show here? David,
Welcome back.
Everybody sit down, please.
there you go. Look, our beat reporter down there in Norfolk, and also a pianist. I mean, you're a very cultured individual back there.
Yeah, what are we playing tonight? What are we playing tonight?
Yeah, what do we have? Oh, what's it open to on the back page there? You got something open there.
Oh, that is a song called Miami 2017 by Billy Joel.
Oh,
Oh,
all
okay.
right.
All right.
See, we're
There's a
talking
piano
about this sophistication. Well, David, I appreciate you as always. You know, we chatted. I told the guys we should have recorded our conversation yesterday because we had a damn good one on my drive home. But let's start down in Norfolk here, and we'll get to the fun stuff after. But the first name we'll start with, Jackson Holliday, is back. He's back playing, but he's not back throwing. You saw it firsthand. Give us the rundown of what's happening down there with Jackson Holliday.
Yeah, he actually started a throwing program yesterday. He threw gradually out to 90 feet, just really long, soft long toss. But when he takes infield drills, he does infield drills. He takes ground balls, and he very comically, as I wrote, then kind of does like a high-lie scoop with his glove and heaves the ball toward first base, and it goes all over the place. He almost killed me yesterday because I was standing by the dugout, and yeah, we were laughing about it. Jax has a great sense of humor, and he's like, yeah, it's like the instinct is to field the ball and throw it. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And so, but he's like, I got enough restraint not to use my right arm when they tell me not to. So yeah, either he would scoop it towards first with his glove, or take off the glove and throw it left-handed, which was equally funny because, I mean, go ahead, give it a try. But the encouraging part, I think, for Orioles fans is that he is throwing. He's pain-free. He felt some pain around his UCL about a week ago and mentioned it to somebody with his agency, and they're like, "Go get it checked out. The last thing you need is surgery or something like that. Just get it checked out." He said he was afraid, of a worst case scenario. He was hesitant to say anything, but then once he did and they looked it over, there's no structural damage. And he's like, "I'm so glad I went and had it looked at, and now I know it's fine." And of course, as I said to him yesterday, if they even thought for a second that it was something more serious than what it is, he would not be DHing. First of all, he would not be in Norfolk. He'd be in Sarasota rehabbing it and having surgery and like all the things. And I asked the manager Buck Britton about it yesterday, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, this dude is one of the prized jewels around here, and we're not going to take any chances. So if they think he can swing, we'll let him swing." And Jax goes, "Yeah, they take good care of us here. The doctors know what they're doing. The trainers know what they're doing. So if they say I can DH, I'll DH." And he kind of bemoaned the fact that he can only help the ball club 4 or 5 times a game, and at the plate, he can't save any runs or anything defensively. But he's like, I got a whole game to sit there and think about my ABs, and that's what I'll do. So he's got a great attitude.
Yeah, he's got a great attitude, like you just said. But it's good to give the context. Like, he's still not throwing. He's doing some crazy shit. And honestly, I got to try to find that video of, I think Mason McCoy is the only one I've successfully seen. I told you that would field it and then throw it with his glove overhand to the first baseman that he accomplished. Other than that, I haven't seen it. But the biggest thing, he needs to get his ABs. I think everyone wants to see Jackson Holliday get the at-bats, get out there in general to that's why I guess people at the big league level are not going to necessarily focus on his defense, even though that's a part of his game that will need to continue to get better playing second base. But if he was hitting up there when he got up to the bigs and he was having success, then he would have stayed up there and all things would have been good. It's getting those reps. So hopefully when this elbow is healthy, whether it's going to be later in the year or next year, he's going to be ready to go. And, I don't think there's a rush now anymore, David, for him to come up, because Connor Norby now has shown his skill set, and it looks like he would get a chance for as long as he's within the organization. I mean, is that kind of your feel as well with what's been kind of going on?
Yeah, I mean, they're in no hurry to get Jax back up there, especially given the way that those 10 games went. I mean, he went 2 for 34. And as he said, and every other person around him said, the dude is 20 years old. He's never had adversity on the field in his life. I mean, think about that. I mean, he probably hit 500 in high school, and then he got drafted and just tore through the system. 4 levels last year, ended up in AAA, helped them win a championship, hit a home run hit a leadoff home run in the decisive game here in Norfolk, and just had never struggled. And it's actually good for him, and that's what he told me after he came back. It's like, now I know what it's like, and now I know what it's like to make adjustments, and that's what this game's all about, as you well know. And he came back here, and I think I told you last time, he decided to fool around with his stance and put his, hold his bat a little more parallel to the ground. He worked on his load with his lower half, and he really focused on hitting the ball to all fields. And that's when he's done that, he's had success. And, he's doing okay. I mean, I think 278, 7 bombs, 28 RBIs in 51 games. This is all off the top of my head, but it's close. So yeah, he's right back to what he was doing, just as Kobe Mayo is, who I also wrote about.
Well, now that you brought that up, because now what, Rocco? It's Kobe Mayo now has a homer in how many consecutive games?
3.
Well, it's cut off there on there. So it's a great shot of the NBA. Actually, it's a great shot of the NBA Jam.
Sure
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Glory.
There we go. But it is. I mean, Kobe Mayo is on one. I think it was his 20th overall in the season.
Today makes it 21, right?
Is it 20 or 21 today? He hit another one today.
Did he? I thought you said.
No, he had three in 3 games.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good
tally.
from what we're hearing. And actually, then before we ask another, I'll have Rock ask the next question. But you said you really studied Kobe Mayo's, like you were watching him swing, not the ball get launched 480 feet, but actually talking about his actual swing and what you were noticing that's made him, special.
Yeah, as I said last time I was on, when he goes into the cage for BP every round, I stop and I watch because it's just he hits balls that are just stupid. Like the launch angles are stupid. It makes no sense. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, the ball goes off the bat, and you're like, okay, well that's a routine fly ball, and it lands 8 rows into the seats. And so yesterday he stood in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the swing. And I watched him, and he's a big kid, obviously, and he's got this wide stance, and his movement toward the ball is so minimal. Like he doesn't do a lot with his feet at all, and he has really amazingly quick hands. He gets the bat through the zone to the ball efficiently and violently, but however, it's violent, but it's not out of control. It's subdued, and he's not. It's not like Reggie Jackson where he ends up on one knee or his shoes fall off. It's just a hard swing with a lot of really good results. And Buck Britton, the manager here, last year put all the metrics up on the video board during BP, which is really cool and kind of helpful. And so you can see the pitch type, the pitch speed, the launch angle, the exit velo. And he hits so many balls that are 108, 109, and some of them end up in the seats. Some of them are like line drives over the shortstop. But he just hits the crap out of balls, and it's fun to watch. But yeah, it was kind of fun to kind of analyze the swing a little bit. I know we talked yesterday privately, and I told you I played baseball for a long time, and good for me. But,
but shout out you were playing baseball for a long period of time that people don't know about, and that's you were around the game as a player. Continue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I told you, I know what it's like to be in a slump. I know what it's like to be seeing the ball really well. I know what it's like to adjust your stance, adjust your load, your lower half, all that stuff. Like I do have an understand. I mean, I say this in all modesty, seriously, but I would say I would argue that I have a better understanding of all that stuff than most people in my profession.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can speak with at least some modicum of authority about it. But just watching the way he approaches a pitch, I found it interesting because the results don't line up with how easy it is for him. And as I've told you on here before, like I think he might be the guy out of all of them. As much as you talk about Jackson and Norby and not to take anything away from them, they're both great dudes, great players. But I just think Kobe might end up being the guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I actually thought specifically here that Kobe has such an upside that's so tremendous that you never know what's gonna, you never know with any of these prospects, but you're seeing it where it even feels different. And we saw the home run the other night by Kobe Mayo that he was a little bit out in front on a curveball, and he's able to then still keep his body back, his hands in a good positions, and he's so big and strong, he's able to put it out. So it's hard to fool him and for him to not still take advantage, even if he is fooled. So that's the part where it's been so fun to watch. But I guess, Rock, it leads into this question because we are going to get closer here over the next, month, but there are some things that are looming for the Orioles decision-wise.
There are. And, I think Zach's going to touch more on that in the trade deadline and looking at Kobe Mayo as a potential chip for the Orioles going forward. what I wanted to ask you, David, thanks first and foremost for joining the show.
Of course.
If you look at the top prospects for the Orioles back in 2022, there's only 2 in the top 15. If you go back on that list that have not made their MLB debuts, and one of them is Kobe Mayo. And I get he's young. He's 22 years old. We got to see him at spring training for about a week. Brian and I did. And he's just a big kid. I mean, 22 years old. He looks like he's ready from a body standpoint, from a professional baseball player standpoint. My question to you is, a lot of the times, because he's down in Norfolk, he's playing in AAA, people get to see clips. People see the power. People see the stats. From you, who covers him every day, who gets to see what he does in the field, what he does at the plate, and infield, what the Orioles have going on aside and how crowded it is this a guy that is currently big league ready and ready to get that call?
I think in virtually any other organization, he's there already. And he's going to play his way there. I watch him take infield pretty much every day, and he's made great strides defensively. I think that might be a little bit of what's held him back. He has put in the work in that, in that department, on that side of the ball, as they say. But I mean, the offense is just stunning. And it was either today or yesterday, he hit a ball that was, at the nips and just turned it around and hit it 450 feet. And that's what he does. And some of them are majestic parabolas that you can't believe. And I mean, I say this because I was looking at I have access to like his exit velo and launch angle and all that. And some, the launch angle on some of them were 42 degrees. And so, these are obviously higher balls, but some of them, the launch angles on home runs were 20 degrees. And that is what's known in the industry as an ass missile. I mean, just
that's one of the names.
And it's a hang time of 3 seconds. So, I mean, but more of them are like, he's like, and this is an old man reference, but he's like Ray Guy with a bat, with the way these balls hang up there. So, yeah, I mean, he's got so much pop and so much offensive promise, and the defense is getting there. Yeah, I mean, if they had a need right now, absolutely. And I look, I hate to gush on the kid too much. I even sort of apologized to him yesterday. And I think this says a lot about him, actually. I told Rip this on the phone. I stopped Kobe after he took some ground balls yesterday because it was 1,000 degrees and they didn't hit. And he's walking off the field, and I'm like, "Hey, kid, I've been going on some shows and I've been saying some really nice stuff about you. I don't know if that ever gets back to you." And he's like, "Oh, yeah. I appreciate that, man. I like it. Yeah." Like he heard it somehow. I don't know if he watches this show or somebody sent him a clip, or I don't know how that works, but he certainly implied that he is aware of the nice things I've said. And so, and he was very grateful, and he's just a nice, polite kid who's easy to talk to. And I mean, for God's sakes, I believe I said this a couple of weeks ago. When he first got here, our first conversation was about his experience in the Parkland shooting in Florida. And I'm like, "Man, I hate to bring this up, but let's just get it out of the way. Let's just never talk about it again, but let's get it out of the way." And he talked about it pretty freely and up to a point. And then ever since, he's been really accommodating, and he's never turned me down. Even after he broke his rib, he talked to me and told, before he went to Florida to rehab it. And he told me that day, he's like, "I'm going to be back way before people think I will." And guess what? 26 days later, he's playing again and hitting. I think he hit 4 home runs in 3 games at high A. So
he's hitting. We also can call them piss missiles, but ass missiles is also a way. The David Hall special, a good old ass missile from Kobe Mayo, baby.
I'm quoting an old reliever I used to cover. That's what he called it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There's different forms here, but it'll be the David Hall ass missile of the day. But Zach, one more question that revolves around Mr. Kobe Mayo.
Yeah, and I I see. Yeah, I'm gonna.
There we go.
So David, thanks for joining us again. You
Yes.
kind of talked about how in any other organization, Kobe Mayo would most likely be up and probably be your starting everyday third baseman.
Yeah.
So when you know that a kid at just this young has so much talent, when it comes to in a month, we're sitting at the trade deadline. In your eyes, is he a player where you're like, there's no way the Orioles can let him go because he has that much talent? Or do you think, unfortunately, he could be someone that starts getting an opportunity elsewhere?
Well, you never know. And it's a good question, a fair question. Personally, I think they'd be foolish to let him go, which I would say to anybody in the organization. Like, not that they want my opinion, but I guess there is some value in seeing the kid every day and being around him and knowing what kind of person he is. And I mean, I'll say the same about Norby and Jax. I mean, and many others. They a few years ago, they just started drafting good dudes, and God, it's made my job a lot easier, as opposed to 10 years ago when as I've said before on here, the locker room was full of derelicts and criminals. But yeah, I mean, I don't see Kobe as a piece. Norby could be, and he and I have talked about that many times. He's well aware. I mean, the way he puts it is, this is a business. Yeah, and I want to play in the major leagues somewhere. I hope it's with the Orioles, but if it's not, that's fine. And he's another guy who would be in, like, were he in the Oakland A's organization, for example, I think he's one of their best players.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in so many organizations, and you can, like you said, you can say it for so many guys that the Orioles are trying to find opportunities to give chances to, and then you look and you're like, other organizations, you would be the star player of that organization. You would be the guy that sells tickets. So you do, as an Oriole fan covering the Orioles, you have to understand, like, wow, it is so special what they're doing right now. And I think you hit the nail on the head about, they've drafted just great guys and they've all become just even better baseball players. And it's a tough situation to be in for this front office. But at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have when you're like, we have too much talent.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead, Rip.
I was just going to say, another guy, it's philosophy too, right? So like the Milwaukee Brewers are a team that's playing that, high, they're top in the NL Central. Jackson Chourio, the other top prospect at the time, he's stayed in the bigs and started, but he's had a lot of struggles. He started to kind of, up and down, but it's your philosophy as an organization. And then for the Orioles, though, it's hard to try to take guys out of a lineup when the team with that same group just won 102 games last year. Sorry, Dave, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say it never stops being weird for me, and I don't understand this part of my job, but I'll turn on the Orioles game and there's Cedric and there's Mountie and there's Gunnar and Cowser and like all these dudes who have spent time here, who were just like my coworkers for a long time. And I look at guys like Norby and Mayo, and like there's like this sense of inevitability that I'm gonna have the same feeling with those dudes. And obviously with Norby, I already have, because he went up for a while. With Jackson, he went up for a while, and then they come back here, and sometimes they're changed. Sometimes it turns them into being bitter and aloof, and thinking they're too big now to talk to me. But that hasn't been the case with these guys. Like Norby talked to me as soon as he got back. So did Jackson. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it was a great experience. It was the best thing, better than I imagined. I can't wait to go back. And they were just really honest about it. And I think that speaks very highly of how the Orioles have vetted these prospects. Well, these potential draftees, and they've just done a fabulous job of getting not only good players but good people. So it's kudos to the Orioles.
No doubt about that. It is big kudos to those and what they've built and the culture that they've continued to show with the amount of just genuine human beings that they've brought in. Now, one other just prospect, now player, whatever, he's still, I guess, considered a prospect, Kevin, but Heston Kjerstad. Heston's finally up in Baltimore, Kev, but I think that was what we wanted to touch a little bit more in.
Yeah, no, he's back again. And David, I'm just curious because a bunch of these prospects, we've seen them go up, then we've seen them come back down, and it feels like the Orioles, right now at least, are giving Heston an opportunity to go out there and prove himself with the big league club. But would you be surprised if Heston came back down, or do you think he's up for good and this is his opportunity right now?
That's up to Heston. I mean, if he does what he did down here for the past couple of months, I'll never see him again unless I go to Baltimore. And it's funny. I was talking to Connor Norby yesterday or the day before, and he was asked about having gone up and come back down, and watching teammates go up and come back down. And he goes, anytime I see a kid like Jackson or Heston or Stowers or any teammate pack up his stuff and go to the big leagues, yeah, he goes, you hope you never see them again unless you're up there with them.
Right.
And it's like, to me, that's like, it speaks to the fact that they all, yes, they are sort of competing with each other. And Rip, you know this better than anybody, but they also root for each other and they encourage each other. And that's why, when somebody hits a home run, every single person high fives them or fist bumps them or whatever. It's like they're all in it together. And that's kind of the beauty of baseball. And it's why I show up every day, because I want them to know I'm in it as well.
Right. And I think that's the part we talked about this, David. It's just realizing that players are people and you enjoy the people and you enjoy the company of what you are around. And that was a great example of just it. The players themselves want the best for each and every individual, and the people around them want the same thing. They care about them as the people first, and then going out and have the results second. And for guys that are chasing their dreams as individuals, everyone wants to see the other succeed. Just the reality of the business, we don't know how that's going to all play out. Like, we're looking at this now, like Heston Kjerstad is going to have to find playing time, and it might take at bats away from Colton Cowser. It might then, in different circumstances, Connor Norby's being blocked because you have guys up there that are playing. That's just the business of it. But hopefully that will play itself out here, and everyone will be all right. And I guess two things will get you out of here. It was let's think.
ABS.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about the ABS.
That actually was one of them.
Yeah, well, that was one of the topics.
Good one. Thank you, David. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We did. Before we get to that, though, can we just get a quick update on, I know they said Dean Kramer's going to get back up here soon, and the only other option down there was McDermott for options, at least for pitching. That was kind of the assumption that I'm still under. It's no knock to anyone, but when Brian Baker got called up and Nick Vespi, those relief arms are the only two, it seems, at the moment that are going to be ready, or that the team's going to consider. So anything, I know Dean Kramer's still on the rehab, but that's just about him getting to his limit. You haven't seen anything specifically or heard anything differently, right?
No, I mean, he seems to be on pace to what he's supposed to be.
Just don't give up 39 pitches in the first inning and get knocked out of a game. I told Dean, that shit's not good, man. Come on.
Well, he didn't mean to
doing that.
Yeah, come on, Dean. Come on. But okay, you know what? As long as we get a good update and they're good, I know McDermott's going to have to wait patiently. And Kate Povich, just the walks have been the only thing that have done him in a little bit, David. To be honest, it's not his stuff's looked good. The deception's been great. It's just been the pitch count has gotten a little bit high, and that's kind of limited his upside. But you're right. I mean, it's been status quo. It looks like that's also a guy, when people say the Orioles can't afford to trade any pitching, by the way. They can't afford to, and they shouldn't trade a guy like Cade.
No, and I mean, I think, as I've said, Cade's stuff will play. and the walks have not been his MO, at least when he was here. His K to walk ratio was off the charts, and I think some of that could be nerves.
Yeah,
having I never had a major league debut, but I did start the opening day as a sophomore on my varsity high school team, and I know I was nervous as I could be, and I hit like 5 dudes.
Electric.
Yeah, but I settled down, and you just have to get your legs under you. You have to realize that it's the same game you've been playing. And it's like Jackson Holliday told me a couple of weeks ago after he came back down here. I'm like, so, I mean, I said, was it nerves? Because, again, he had a horrible 10 games in the big league. I go, were you nervous? I knew the answer to that. This is a kid who's never, ever nervous. Yeah. This is a kid who grew up. He made his debut at Fenway. And I'm like, I bet you've been on that field before. He goes, yeah. I grew up taking BP in the cage and shagging flies at Fenway because, of course, his dad's Matt Holliday. And he's like, I wasn't nervous at all. And the only difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues is more people are watching. It's the same game. And what he said was that he pressed. And maybe that's what's going on with Cade. I don't know. But the stuff is in there and it will come out. And I think the Orioles have enough sense to be patient with it and let him walk a few guys and let him work around it. And, I mean, for God's sakes, working around walks builds character.
Yeah, he's been finding a way to get out of it. That's what Kevin was doing all those years. He was building character in T-ball. Oh, there you are, Kevin.
That's right.
Hey, Kevin, you're hiding. There you go.
Sort of on the camera.
Honestly, Kevin, that computer, even though it could explode on any given day for you, that thing's bigger than your fucking body.
It is.
I will say this
couch,
the couch does Kevin dirty because
it does. I have to slouch in the couch. Oh, see that slouch in the couch?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Send that to Ice Cube. He might use that.
Yeah, he's gonna need that. He might perform that on Saturday. Yeah, David had Ice Cube on talking about the big 3 coming to Baltimore on Saturday.
I caught some of that. And
and
it was really good. And I'm impressed that you were able to get somebody like Ice Cube. But I did want to announce that I've started a 3-on-3 baseball league.
Hey, hell yeah!
And they play to 100, and the games last 10 minutes. Because nobody can catch anything.
Perfect.
It's one fielder, one catcher, one pitcher. Just the ball gets hit, and some people are just running.
Got to run. Got to get it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting dynamic, to say the least. I got my money on. Of the 3 of you, though, who makes contact?
On what? Like
just making contact with the baseball.
Do I get to hunt my pitch?
Are you kidding me?
I'm hunting my pitch.
Well, it's
probably me.
I was a professional T-ball player, right? I think I got this.
As I recall from my last appearance here, somebody couldn't really make contact in T-ball.
That's a guy with the laptop that's bigger than his torso.
You know what? My issue would be is I'm an OBP guy. I would probably draw a walk.
I'm like
in T-ball. You were walking.
Yeah. They said we can't let this guy hit. Just put him on base.
They had.
So how do you put yourself on base with T-ball?
He would do this step and then go. He would do the Soto shuffle. Be like, no, that's outside. And they'd be like, okay, ball.
Yeah, right. Take your base. There
that's
you go.
Unbelievable. Okay, Rock, what you got a quick thought here?
I was just gonna say, humble brag. In 2016, I played in a. It was media versus public officials or elected officials softball game, and I went yard twice.
Were you a public official?
I'm making contact. I was not a public official.
How far was the fence?
If I'm ever a public official, that city is in trouble. That's all.
I could tell you that.
Wow.
How far was the fence?
It was just a like a little league fence, basically. Yeah,
150. Dead center.
No.
Oh goodness.
Anyway,
do you have a question, Rocco?
Yeah,
before we get David out of here in a second. What was that? Go ahead.
How long have you covered the Tides, David?
Since 2013.
Yeah.
So you covered one Ryan Ripken, correct?
Oh, this is.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Can we get an honest scouting report on his game? Since we're talking about our games. Listen, don't hold anything back. We want to know all about just the good, the bad, and the ugly about the way he played the game.
Oh, there's a lot of bad that year.
Well,
but continue. I'm curious now.
Okay. He played hard. His swing was a little loopy for my taste, and that's an honest breakdown of his swing, and I think he would admit that. It slowed his bat down, but he'd run into one every once in a while. I believe in Memphis he ran into one. Is that correct, Rip?
Yep, I did hit a ball 109 off the bat for a homer.
Look at you.
The only one of the year.
He sends it to us a lot.
Yes.
Oh, no. Whoa. Okay, let David speak. Here we go.
And his eyes were closed when he hit the ball.
Yes, that as well.
It was a 3-0 fastball.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? Also, too, David, I had a little hernia going for that year too. That was fun. It's a good time. That could be for a Rip After Dark story about.
Jeez.
Well, no, that's just a reality.
Oh well, yeah. I'm trying to. Never mind.
We can tell you about a story in Memphis that the night before I hit the home run. Actually, I was pissed off, and I told myself, I was like, you know what? That's why I told you guys. I just got some tequila and I just did push-ups. Just did push-ups in my sliders. Just stayed there for a while, and then I just drank some tequila, and then 1 yard the next day.
Did you do push-ups with tequila that next night?
I did.
I was going to say you have to.
And then how did it turn out after that? Not as good, but you got to give it another try because
once you do it the first time, you have to see if it works.
You have to.
Rip,
you have to.
What I liked about that scouting report is you got the green light 3-0. Pretty impressive.
Well, it depends on the circumstance. Honestly,
he missed the take sign.
Yeah, I did. Probably.
They were like, okay, no swing here. And Rip was like, I'm taking this thing yard.
Yeah. He hit the home run and then got
did it, though.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. But that's just the reality of it. All good. Okay, now let's actually, before getting out of here, the ABS system's coming to Baltimore, or not Baltimore. It's coming to AAA, right?
It's in AAA. But I did want to say
AAA. One more thing. Go ahead.
One more thing regarding your time here.
Oh boy.
When you were here, the team had you, who I'm not sure if your audience is aware, your father played baseball for a while.
He did a little bit. Yep.
Didn't know that.
Also had Tyler Nevin, son of Phil Nevin.
Yep.
Also had Zach Jarrett, the son of NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett. Right. And so I got the three of you together. Well, separately, but at the same day, I talked to all three of you about growing up as the son of a famous father. And I just thought the story turned out pretty good, but it humanized you three. Like you were telling me yesterday about things people have said to you about being a Ripken and just how nasty people can be. And as I told you, the overarching goal of my career has been to remind readers that these athletes are human beings with families and homes, and they're away from February to September or October, and they miss graduations, they miss funerals, they miss family events, and it's just a tough lifestyle. It's glamorous, it's fun. I mean, for God's sake, you're getting paid to play baseball. Everybody's jealous of that, but it's also, it's not easy. Nothing about it's easy. And so I hope I illustrated that point. And I did want to ask you one question that has driven me nuts since then. And the first thing is, the day after I wrote that story, and I wrote that you looked very much like your dad, and you still do.
Mm-hmm.
And what drove me nuts, the next day I had this great line come to me. I should have written that you look like your dad's rookie card. I thought that was just a great line. So my question for you is, when you were playing, and even now, do people stop you like in the mall or walking around the street? Do people stop you and go, "Holy cow, you look like Cal Ripken"? Does that happen?
It's happened at times where they're like, "Wow, you look familiar," or a lot of them now will just be like, "Oh, you're a Ripken." You look, and they go, "You know what? Has everyone told you look like Cal?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of crazy." And I said, I get that, but it's not a compliment, And they're like, "Oh no, it's great." It's great. We love Cal. Do you know him? Nope. Never heard of him. So it has happened. It's probably one of my favorite things. And in Charlotte, actually, they have a banner of him close to that rookie year then. So I think Charlotte was AA at the time, or maybe it was A-ball, I forget.
It was AA Orioles affiliate. Yep.
Yeah, and that photo, that one scared the hell out of me because I looked at it and I was like, wow. I'm like, my dad looked good one time in his life, and it was then right now. So it was all good. Yes, it was a fun time.
This is the one that gets me.
Is it the Orioles magic one?
Yep. Every time.
1000%.
Every time I'm like, that's literally Ryan.
You think that's me?
Yes.
Except you would have a bottle of tequila
yes.
you're putting to the face instead of a bottle of champagne.
I mean, I would pop bottles of champagne. Nothing compares to popping bottles when you win something. It's up there. Or beer showers. Nothing compares to that in my mind.
You could play Cal Ripken in the movie.
That's great.
So
listen, we had Ice Cube on. Didn't his son play him in a movie? There we go.
That's right.
There's the connection.
Yeah.
Come on, Rip.
Yeah. See, Clay, I love it. At least Ryan has a 10. You see this? See this bronze?
Say it did.
That is true.
You, unfortunately,
well, you were just a grease.
I was gonna say, unfortunately,
2 weeks.
Grease tan is.
Oh
really
no, I
helping
got such a good base tan right now. We're getting ready for hot guy autumn, so I am on
open hip autumn. It's open hip fall, hot guy autumn.
Yeah, no longer hot girl summer or hot boy summer. We're just looking for hot guy autumn. Exactly, Rocco. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Oh God, David, this is when it just goes off the rails.
Sorry, I hijacked it, but I mean,
I wouldn't say it's hijacked. Do we? I'm just saying. Should we talk about because you wrote stories that will push. You wrote it about Kobe Mayo and Jackson Holliday and the ABS system now that's in AAA. This will be the last thing we'll get you out of here. So far, it's implemented in AAA, and the results have been what?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it started at the start of last season, and they in AAA now they play 6-game series, and that's to cut down on the travel and a whole bunch of other things. But the first 3 games of a series, they would do the robo-umps. They got all these cameras and radar guns and stuff trained to a millimeter. To when the pitch comes through, these cameras tell you exactly where the ball was in relation to the plate. And for the first 3 games of these series, the robo ump is what people called it, would make the call. The umpire would get a voice in his ear going strike or ball, and he'd make the call on the field. It happened instantaneously. There was no debating, no challenging or anything. But the last 3 games of each series, the umpires will call with their eyes, old school style. And if a pitcher, batter, or catcher disagreed with the call, he would tap his head like this. You have to do it immediately. Like the umpire goes, that's a strike. The batter goes like that. And the PA guy goes, the previous pitch is under review. And then this video game like graphic appears on the scoreboard or on the video board, and it like within seconds shows the flight path of the ball coming in and exactly where it crosses the plate, and if it catches that much of the strike zone, it's a strike. And so both teams, the whole crowd, the umpires, everybody sees the thing play out in real time, and it takes 5 seconds. And people cheer when it happens, or they boo, or whatever, and it's engaging. So, as of this week, with the start of the second half in the International League, that challenge system is now fully in place, and the reason is everybody seems to agree that is more likely to make it to the major leagues. I talked to Mayo, I talked to Jackson Holliday, I talked to Norby, I talked to Buck, and they all agree that the challenge system is much better. And so now teams get 2 challenges per game, and which sounds like not much, but as long as you can challenge as many times as you like, as long as you get them right.
Yeah.
So if I go, if I'm the batter and the umpire calls a strike, and I go, nope, that was down. They show the graphic, and I'm right, it's a ball. We still have 2 challenges, so that can continue forever. And so I talked to guys about their personal challenge percentage, and like Norby he's like, yeah, I think I'm at about 40%. I'm middle of the pack. Mayo goes, I think I've probably been more times than wrong. And Jackson's like, yeah, I've done it 3 or 4 times. I've been right every time. It's like I botched a few last year, but I like this year I've been really good. And just the other night he got a strike call overturned.
Boom.
And they all agree that it is the fairest system, and it's the one that could work best in the big leagues. And as I wrote today, it's not like the NFL where there is an official sticking his head under a towel for 5 minutes while the play-by-play guy vamps and wastes time. And I mean, it's immediate and it's really cool. And I think if it does reach MLB, and I think it will in 2026, I think people will like it a lot. Because, as Jackson said, it promotes accountability. Of course, there are catchers who can steal a strike. But if the batter knows the strike has been stolen, he now has recourse. So it promotes accountability. I thought that was a really good way of putting it. So
Jackson's probably wondering, David, where that was when he made his MLB debut the first couple of weeks, because it seemed like, he had his struggles, obviously, and it didn't seem like he was ready at that point in time, but he got hosed on some calls, some strikeouts that were just like out of this world, just outside the box. And
it was literally, it was like 5 or 6 straight at bats. He started 0-1, and I don't think a single pitch was a strike.
So to know he's perfect in his calls right now, it's breath of fresh air, I think, to O's fans. So maybe they need to get that up when they bring him back up.
Well, the other point that Buck and Jax and Norby made, and I think Mayo, I think they all said this, like what this does is it really hammers home strike zone discipline. And Buck said, if the only way to know whether you know the zone is to challenge it and be wrong. And he's like, we're fine if they're wrong. Like he goes, we encourage them. If they think they got hosed, challenge it. And then once you do that and you realize, well, okay, maybe I don't understand the bottom of the zone as well as I thought. Then now that moving forward. So it does enhance their development of the knowledge of the strike zone, which is a huge thing in this organization. And it just benefits everybody. And so you have 2 challenges and you screw them both up and you're out of them. So what? Another game tomorrow. Right, Rip? Turn the page, kid.
Turn the page. What you got, Rock?
I wish I had that system at home for when Ariana swears I'm wrong, and I could just be like, challenge.
Oh God,
I'm
wouldn't that be the best?
Absolutely right here. But then I'm still wrong.
Well, isn't that one like that? Can be another app that can be created, like your wing app that you wanted to make, or Kevin was making, a fun being out and partying app.
Oh yeah.
So like,
right, Zach, what were the vibes the other day at Pickles? You didn't tell us.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you know why? Because there wasn't an app for Mattelodon.
You're right, Kevin.
Sorry.
If only someone made it.
If only.
Okay. Well, hey David, before we let you out of here, then can you let us know again where we can find you and where we can find all your work? Because a lot of people are like, I love this. I like knowing what's happening. I'm glued to this. David Hall's a recurring guest that we need on constantly. Where can they get more of David Hall in the meantime?
Well, first of all, these people are sick. Secondly, you can find it. You can find it at pilotonline.com. I work for the Virginian Pilot, which is the largest daily paper in Virginia. And we cover AAA baseball in a way that few papers still do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of content, especially in the past 2 days. But pilotonline.com. You can also look at my Twitter. It's at David Hall VP, as in Virginian Pilot. And you'll I think people who are curious about these prospects, Mayo, Norby, Jackson, all the rest of them, they'll be surprised at the amount of content and I mean, I know a lot of this stuff because we're under the umbrella with the Baltimore Sun. A lot of the stuff is in the Sun too. So hopefully people are curious and hopefully I satisfy their curiosity when they go and read about, Kobe Mayo's rib injury, Jackson Holliday's sore arm. There's a lot of information and it comes firsthand because I interact with these people every day. So, you can't get it anywhere else. I'll put it that way.
You can't. Honestly, and it's being serious, but I'm also emphasizing you can't. You want the lowdown on what's happening specifically there, the ins and outs. David's your guy. So
Ryan
David,
Ripken's hernia.
What?
Ryan Ripken's hernia.
Well, no, that can be
Another
for Rip. David and I have some Rip After Dark stories that aren't suitable for today's show, but stay tuned for when we have that all done. But David, appreciate you as always. I'll let you know when we have the clips out. You'll see him out there. But you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be chatting with you real soon.
I hope so. Appreciate it, fellas. Always a pleasure.
David Hall, everybody.
Appreciate it, David.
What a guy. What a guy.
I love shooting the shit with him. He knows something.
I'm telling you, we like good people. Kevin, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. What I was saying is for like David, he understands on a lot of different levels. And the point that he made for a second about like he played the game, he got to play the game up until, I believe he said till he was 30. And being around the game and knowing what's going on and also understanding that type of feel of what players go through, like that's a valuable part. And I think that helps him give a lot more insight because he is seeing it. He's dealt with it. He knows what's going on. So I'm excited. Joe, can we get a challenge system for Rocco? We'll work on that. There's a lot of things that we could work on here at the Ryan Ripken Show. But guys, I think we should wrap it up and call it a day. We're about to approach that 2-hour mark, but we will have a lot more content coming your way. Monday will be another jam-packed show. So where are my glasses? Are they gone? Okay. Well, they're right here. Any other closing remarks? Kevin, the one thing I regret is that we all didn't chug our drinks today.
Not going to be another show with all of us in there for a while, I don't think. So we
Mm,
missed an opportunity, but
Not next Monday. Maybe.
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 Rocco says, what about next Monday? As if he's not the one we're waiting to be in studio.
Okay. Anyway, I live rent free in your head. Continue.
You also live down the road, and yet
Cue it.
and yet we don't hang out. Loser.
Canton,
Loser.
Canton,
Loser. Loser.
Canton.
Not you, Rich.
All right, everyone. We appreciate you as always at the Ryan Ripken Show. You enjoy your weekend. The Ryan Mountcastle special will be out soon on the channel. And for everyone else that joined us, we thank Ice Cube. We thank David Hall. And we will see you next time for a brand new edition of the Ryan Ripken Show.
Peace.